Welcome back from that video. I hope you guys were paying attention and took some good notes and learned something awesome about games. We are going to get started here with our first challenge, our warm-up challenge. Now, a warm-up deals with a game. It's one of my favorite games, and it's called Loteria. How many of you all have played bingo before? Cool, because if you have, you know how to play Loteria. Now, Loteria is a card game that's from Mexico, and it was brought to Mexico from Spain by the Spaniards in around 1770. Now, once it got to Mexico, it kind of evolved into the modern game that we know of today. But basically, it's like bingo. You have each participant gets a card, and these cards have 16 individual nouns. They're all different. All the cards are different. So everybody has a unique card. Now, the caller has a deck of 54 calling cards. Now, these cards are all individual also, and there's 54 unique nouns. So these are things that you would find in a typical Mexican city or Mexican village. Okay. Now, gameplay revolves around these cards. These are the calling cards, and so if you guys could kind of see that right there, there's some unique features on each card. You have a number, which on the upper left-hand corner is the number of the card in the deck. You have the actual picture of what that card represents, and then you have the word or name of that card. Okay? Now that matches up to your calling card, your tablet, which has those 16 individual nouns. You have the number, the picture, and the name of that object or that noun. Okay? Now play begins as everybody that's participating gets a tabla or tablet. Okay? Now the caller would shuffle the deck and began calling out the cards. El corazón, the heart, right? So you would take a marker. Typically they would use beans, coins, pennies. In this case, we're using some little corn pieces. So we would look around our calling cards and we would find if we have that card. Escalera, the ladder. We would go around, look through our cards, and place a marker on our chips. Play will continue until somebody reaches the predetermined, you guys have to call this out before you start, winning combination. You have vertical, horizontal, four corners, and the four center. Or if you're really hardcore, the whole card. Okay? Now, once one person gets that predetermined set, they don't yell bingo, they yell loteria. And then the caller will go over, double check and make sure that their cards were right, that they did get that winning combination, and then they win. Either bragging rights that they won that game, or sometimes people play for coins or for little candies or little toys, or just for fun. Game is played around Mexico and now the United States as a family form of entertainment. Aunts and uncles and parents, they interact with their kids and they learn about the nouns. They learn numbers, they learn actual nouns that you can find in a city, and it's basically a fun game. Now, as the years have passed, there's different versions of Loteria. People and companies make different versions. This one right here is a Star Wars Loteria that I picked up here in El Paso. And so all the different cards are different characters from Star Wars. We have Chewbacca, we have Princess Leia, we have C-3PO, and they're all associated with the original names on the cards. Okay? Now, this brings us up to our warm-up challenge. Okay? Your teams are going to have to create 4 calling cards that represent your team. Now, this could be any theme that you want, but it has to be a coherent theme. So kind of imagine like we were doing the Star Wars, right? So my team would do Star Wars. I would pick Han Solo. I would pick the, let's see who else is in here. Maybe Luke Skywalker, maybe Darth Vader, and C-3PO. Those would be my 4 cards. We would make those 4 cards, okay? Now, what you guys will be doing is you are all going to get a material pack, such as this one right here. This is all the materials you guys have to create this project, okay? Now, such as this right here. Everybody has the same amount of materials. You may have different colors from different teams, but that's cool because it's all unique, right? But you all have the same amount of materials. Now, these materials are yours to use however you want. The more materials you use and the better you use them, the more points you will receive. You could cut them, you could glue them, you could scissor them, do whatever you guys want to make your projects. But now we have some specific requirements, right? Now the calling cards that you guys are going to make have to be 5 inches by 7 inches. 5 by 7, okay? Now they have to make that specific requirements. Like I said, the more materials you use, the more colorful, the more neat and organized your cards are, the more points you will receive. In addition to the cards that you're going to make, the 4 calling cards, typically Loteria has some cool little rhymes or riddles associated with each card. For example, if we were to check out the paraguas, the umbrella, they would also say the paragua for the rain or for the sun. Or you would call out the shrimp, the camarón. They would say the shrimp that slumbers gets taken away by the tide. So in addition to making your 4 calling cards, we want you guys to come up with a rhyme or a riddle associated with each of your 4 cards, okay? Now, one thing to note about your tool cases that you guys have, your tools are yours to use and to create your project. But however, you can't take a marker, for example, and tape it into your project, okay? You can't take your ruler and kind of glue it onto your project. Your tools are yours to use to make your projects, but you can't incorporate any part of your tools into your project. Does that make sense? Cool, I hope so. Now, if you guys do have any further questions, please raise your hand and ask your teachers at this time. They will pass out materials and we'll get started here shortly. Thank you.